Oh, shit. Elite clan. We came, we saw, we respawned. You know, Rakai has a problem. AMP has a Rakai problem, Pain Beat. So let's see what's going on.
This
Should I
nigga Rakai needs to be stopped. By all means, this is not a hate video. Y'all gotta stop.
Oh shit! No, whoa, ski woo. Oh shit, ski. Oh, what the? I'm trying to move my camera, bitch. Fine, nigga. Oh, oh, okay. Right. There. Boom. We're back. We're back. Boom. We're back. Okay. I had to move my camera.
Giving this the excuse that he's just a kid. Understand everybody's not the same. Some people don't think the same. They need to start
Bullshit.
disciplining this Rakai.
Rakai. Well, I didn't. Rakai been getting too out of pocket lately, and somebody need to go stop. Check his. Need to go check his little ass.
Same. Some people don't think the same. They need to start disciplining this Rakai.
Now hold on, that's my young boy, Rakai. I'm sure it cannot be that bad. I'm sure that he's just being a little over the top and exaggerating.
Oh, the TV. Oh, I watched this.
Right back, bro.
No, you did.
I did.
And after that,
Yeah, I did shit, bro.
You and Jamal at the same time.
Wait,
no. Let's play around more and take your ski.
Bro, I'm gonna keep the butt down. No,
Come on, bro. Chill, bro. Hey, bro, chill.
What the fuck? I'm not even seeing what's going on.
On my mother's soul was not me.
Hey, turn the camera off, man.
Huh?
Turn the camera off.
On my mother's life, the question was not
No,
me.
that's crazy. You throw water in the security face, bro?
Okay, we got something on our hands. Now, normally we can excuse...
It wasn't even him. I watched the stream. It was actually Tota. If you watch the stream, you know it was Tota.
Okay, we got something on our hands. Now, normally we can excuse this behavior as normal 16-year-old ignorance, which I think a lot of people have been doing. But coming
When
off
I was 16, I was not annoying people like that.
Streamer University, there has to be a real examination of Rakai, his actions, his attachment to the group, and why streamers think that this is the way to make content going into 2025. Now, every time I try to make a video on Rakai, I get the news of the night and then upload it to my Notion, record it and everything like that. And as it's getting edited and ready to go, something different happens. And this time he pulled a prank that he thought was funny because his person who was doing his hairdresser messed up on his hair. So he called the cops to ask them how to sue. And it was a joke until the cops actually showed up.
Chat, word to my mother, the cops are here. Word to my mother. But I don't know how to got my address.
This is like kid 101.
What the fuck?
I literally called the cops, but I hung up mad quick. Niggas still put up. Yeah, they track our phones.
Rakai is a 16-year-old streamer who has risen to prominence by basically being a Kai Cenat clone, taking on that moniker and taking it to a whole nother level.
His name is
He's part of the
Rakai.
AMPG League, as they are calling them. And he's been pumping out a lot of content and seeing a lot of success. But there's a lot of people asking, why is it that these content creators, namely the biggest of the big, want to be associated with a little kid who is hyperactive, who is doing all these crazy things, and is depicting themselves like this on the internet?
I'm a hoe. I don't have no rights. I'm a bitch. And I'm short and ugly and black.
What the fuck?
What the is this?
Now, a lot of people would say that this is just normal interactions and behaviors of a 16-year-old kid. Wasn't me when I was 16, but that's
Thanks,
what
not
people
me,
have been
not
ultimately
me.
saying. And there have been a lot of people saying, this is content. And I do agree to that to some extent. If we look at some of our favorite streamers or content creators back in the day, they used to do similar actions like this. Hell, I know Phantom from being that crash out on 2K who threw chairs through walls and doors and stuff like that and would rage every single time, playing the game and losing. Raging was a thing. Raging is a thing. That is some sort of content.
That's
but
how
it
you
seems
make
that
it.
the community is saying that Rakai is taking it too far and they are a little fed up of him, his actions, and his shenanigans.
Rakai don't got no. You know that shit that tells you I probably shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. It's probably too far. That nigga Rakai don't got that.
He doesn't have his. Damn.
He don't got that.
Now, if this ain't the pot calling the kettle black, then I don't know what is. Although Deshae Frost is acting like the Spider-Man meme right here in his sentiments, those
'Cause he's
sentiments are
dumb
being
as
echoed
fuck,
by
too.
a larger portion of the
But when a dumb nigga calls another dumb nigga dumb, that's when he starts to realize, nah, this nigga's wrong as fuck.
community. That and why he is around adults in adult-like situations, which we can address in 2 seconds. Now, for me and my perspective, I see RAKAI as being nothing more than an extension or an evolution of what's been going on in streaming over the past couple of years. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not excusing any of the incidents that happened at Streamer University, you know, the depictions of his room after the fact, or, you know, his physical altercations, whether it be a fight with Dabo or the Orbeez incident.
Oh, chill.
Damn.
Oh, chill. Watch the camera. Watch the camera. Chill. Don't get in trouble, bro. Stop, bro.
I would have beat his ass. What the fuck?
And we can only give so many excuses after time and time again situations like this happen, and now they're being
Taking
escalated
chances,
to where
turning
people are
into
actually getting hurt.
five,
The one girl did get hit in the
then-
eye, and although it might have been stated that it was over exaggerated because she didn't end up in the hospital, she actually just ended up with an ice pack in her room. I still don't think that that should be something that's downplayed. Sure, it might have hit her
She
on the
still
skin of the
got
eye,
hit her
and
in
she
the
was
eye,
okay this
nigga.
time, but an Orbeez directly to the eye will literally blind somebody. That's the reason why they provide goggles and tell you don't aim at people's faces when it comes to playing with them. But I do say this is just the nature of the clip farming
What
era
the
that
fuck?
we are in, with the one-upping culture that we are in, just trying to be over the top. And when you
That's how
have
you
a
get their
frontal
money
lobe that isn't
sometimes.
even starting to develop or is just in the processes of developing, I mean, this is the result of this. This is what people find entertaining. This is what people find content. And it's
I don't
no
find it
knock
entertaining.
inherently to RAKAI.
And when
He
I
is
said, like, I watched that stream, nigga, I didn't watch it on Rakai's stream. I watched it on Dota's stream. So, nigga,
just a product
The
of the
fuck?
era in my perspective, but I do think that we should be looking at this era and being more careful about what we put out into the ethos to say that, hey, this is okay, this is what we condone, this is fine and dandy. Because just like how I was critical of the other people on Kick doing things like this, I would still have to be fair and be critical of RAKAI doing these exact same actions. Now, because of RAKAI's actions, a lot of people have been questioning whether or not he should be in these situations, not just because he doesn't know how to handle himself in these situations, but also because these are very adult-like situations that are around RAKAI and in the surrounding areas. It's no secret that Kai Cenat and Collective continuously remind us that they are an adult platform. It's not their job to, you know, influence the kids a certain way.
But it is.
You know, they should be able to consume things like weed or alcohol, which is true. They are of age. But when RAKAI is in those situations and we're facing criticism, those questions still come up and have to be taken into consideration.
I ain't like, bro, this
Don't listen to
it's
nobody.
130,000 people watching, bro. You just said you're edging?
Nobody cares about
Now
edging.
it's like, okay, damn, I never knew my son was horny, so now she's putting 2 and 2 together.
She's looking at her bathroom wig. Like,
Oh.
what? She's looking at her towels, her rags.
It's over
Oh,
again.
let me see.
It's over.
Listen,
bro.
listen.
Let me see what?
Now,
Father.
she's putting 2 and 2 together.
Let me see what?
Play the outro
Please
song.
send Rakai home.
RAKAI's mom is now texting Kai Cenat to tell him, yeah, this is getting out of pocket and too far. Well, because he has put himself into
Damn.
adult situations, or at least the adults around him have welcomed him into these situations. I don't know how to frame this, but essentially, RAKAI
It
is
is what
in these
it
adult
is.
situations in which he shouldn't be in. And because part of the WL community is innuendos about sexual things or, you know, alcohol or whatever the case may be, it only makes sense. And it only makes sense that he should not be there. I think it's fairly simple. Now, with that being said, do I believe that Kai Cenat and the people around him like Talil, Punga, Ray, or whatever the case may be aren't doing
Nigga,
the
they just shouted him, and then the next day they let him do what he
best
do.
they can to protect him. Sure. Little Rodney's son is not having, RAKAI be in these situations. However, the nature of the
Lil
WL
Rodney does
community is
not.
putting him in these situations. Do I think it would be different if
He
RAKAI was
does
home?
not.
Probably not. He would still be making these jokes.
He's
But
not one to
being
fuck
in
with.
the environment puts you at an extraordinary opportunity to be exposed to a bunch of different things. And we've seen what's happened before in the past when young people, 15, 16 years old, are into these places and spaces, and it honestly does not end well.
This nigga burner page, whatever it is, someone run the second page, is taking clips from 3-4 years ago, posting them with captions that aren't true, trying to defame
I know
me
this
and try to
nigga, the
drag me
one
down with
who
Act.
got
Now,
in
does
an
Act run this
argument
page? I don't think so. Do
with
Act
Fat
most
Boy.
likely have control over this page?
Yo, fucking
Yes.
weird ass
Act,
nigga,
you came
bro.
on my Song Wars, you judge shit, I appreciate that. That's love. But at the end of the day, if you are coming on stream and you are saying weird shit to a nigga, to a kid I basically view as my little brother, you feel me? Nor he's a Palestinian refugee. For anyone that doesn't understand, he's a Palestinian refugee. He lives in Malaysia. He doesn't speak
shit,
Malay.
nope.
He lost
I'm
his mother.
talking
I've known him for like
different
2
shit.
years now. He's gone through a lot. I don't want him in these situations where he's getting asked these weird questions. I don't know why my sister's even coming up, gang. You know?
That Nor Academics and Black Boy Max situation from just a few months ago at the top of the year was totally out of hand. And it's a situation that Nor shouldn't have even been in. But because the community dictates that this is the way that content is supposed to be made, then ultimately this is just another young man that succumbed to the pressures of the adults that ultimately failed him in the name of content or trolling or joking or whatever the hell
What
be
the
going on. And so
fuck?
then we wonder why these young kids ultimately end up regurgitating this nonsense, but it's because it's being spewed to them. And then not even just that, this ultimately becomes content for the entirety of the community to consume and make judge of or light of any situation as if it's something to even be talked about in this manner.
You're still scamming people. You're asking people around me for money. You're doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing and playing the I'm a kid card in order for you to get by, which is not cool. You've been on the internet long enough. You know the results of your actions. My nigga.
This
You're
guy.
scamming people, my supporters, my niggas in the com. You're doing all this, bro. You're scamming people outside, and you're playing that cool role. That shit.
Also,
That's just not it, bro.
Yo,
Like, it's good.
Funny thing is, this nigga also ended up trending on Max. Bro.
You're playing that cool role. That's just not it, bro.
Like, it's good that we're holding people accountable for the actions, but content, like whether it be RAKAI, whether it be Nor, whether it be whoever, these 15-year-olds should not be the content for 30-something-year-olds when it comes to making them the butt of the joke, laughing at them, taking advantage of their childlike state or whatever the case may be. And the behavior only gets encouraged every time a non-serious video is made where, people say that he needs a whooping or he's expelled and then he comes back or they treat him like a child or whatever. This is just only encouraging the behavior that's being depicted.
This RAKAI nigga need a whooping, bro. This nigga bad as hell.
Shit.
I ain't never paid attention to your ass as much as I did during the streamer university.
Conversation. You're expelled. Packing shit up. No.
You are expelled.
No,
RAKAI.
he's not.
Pack your shit up. No, gang, listen, gang. Hold on, time out, bro. Come on. Pack that shit up.
Oh.
Now, look, one of the only reasons why I'm bringing this to the forefront of the conversation is for two specific reasons. Because I'm 30. I shouldn't be talking about RAKAI and all this other stuff. I didn't report on it when it was him and Little Tay going back and forth. And honestly, I'm employed. I shouldn't be talking about it now. But I find it very interesting, though, that when it came to the Zoe Spencer situation, yes, I keep bringing it up, a couple weeks ago, that was taken very much more serious than the RAKAI situation. I would think that both people would say that they are equally annoying and would dismiss.
Oh, fuck. This nigga might be on to something. Yo, damn. Nah, this is insane.
It's both of them if it was all equal, right? But are we going to continue to give him the 16-year-old pass? And then secondly, and most importantly, I think that this is an opportunity to take a look at the nature of what WL content is, streaming is, whatever the case may be. I saw Streamer University this weekend, and while there were a bunch of magnificent things to say, if we're being critical of what's going on in the future, I saw clip farming to an immature level that I thought I would never see in my life.
Why do it smell like that?
Damn.
Ew.
Headshot. We gone, bro. I don't give a fuck. I'm taking everything. Yo. Oh yeah, flower. We out, bro. Oh my God. Hold on. We are not done.
Flowers. I must have missed this part.
Take everything,
Get the fuck out of here, nigga. Y'all niggas think it's appropriate to come in my fucking room when I'm not there? It's a difference between content, nigga. Learn the fucking difference, bitch ass nigga. I'll be fucking Get this nigga the fuck out of here.
Damn.
I'll be fucking bad.
So while I definitely understand Agent's gripes about, what No Limit J did to his
Wait,
roommate,
that was Agent?
Out there, it's a difference between content, nigga. Learn the fucking difference, bitch ass nigga. I'll be fucking Get this nigga the fuck out of here. I'll be fucking bad.
So while I
Oh,
definitely
shit.
understand Agent's gripes about, what No Limit J did to his room at Stream University, I'm definitely not condoning anybody breaking into that place and space for him. I just have to ask the question, how would he or why would he know the difference between what content is and not content, what that line is, whether he's over it or whatever the case may be, if what he sees is that type of content being rewarded on a daily basis? RAKAI ended up being a top 4 most watched channel on Streamer University, and most of it was based out of his actions and shenanigans. He got millions of views off of clips, and if I'm an onlooker and I see that that's what's being rewarded with having the opportunity to not only go to Streamer University, to not only be one of the most watched channels, but to constantly be around Kai Cenat as well, being in that Clover house and changing my life. I mean, what 16-year-old wouldn't replicate that? That's a situation that a lot of 16-year-olds don't get. RAKAI is essentially, and I know this is going to sound like uber glazed to him, and it's probably so, he definitely is still taking advantage and working hard at his craft. I don't want to get that wrong. But RAKAI is like the equivalent of, I don't know, a top high school prospect right now. He is slated to be one of the biggest streamers in the next couple of years if he just continues down this path and trajectory. But if we look at the path and the trajectory, it is the type of content that was just criticized a couple weeks ago. So if I'm a young streamer, I'm a little bit conflicted, and not really even conflicted. Okay, they got one person out of here, Zoe or whatever. There's all these reasons, but I see RAKAI over here reaching new heights. I see No Limit J reaching new heights. I see all these content creators reaching new heights by doing this exact same extreme content. Sure, they shouldn't be in adult situations and themes and stuff like that. That is a full stop, and I don't think that people are putting them in that. So I want to refute that narrative as a whole. But at the end of the day, if they are looking at this type of content and they're also seeing the success, why not replicate it? You guys tell me, should they do something about RAKAI? Should they kick him out in order to, set a good example or stay consistent?
They should just teach him
whatever
a lesson.
the case may be. I think that it's perfectly fine, especially because this is the nature of things. I do think that he does not need to hurt anyone. I think that that's just totally too far. But any narratives about him being around explicit situations or drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, to me, is very much overblown, and it's a narrative that paints the people around him as worse actors than they actually are. But let me know what you think in the comments, because
that was a W video, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. But let me know your comments down below too, nigga. I don't know, like, shit, nigga. A lot has been going on. Keep on grinding, nigga, if you grinding.